The actuarial profession does three things really well. One is applying a technical rigor. Two is this commercial acumen. And the third one is very acute awareness of your moral compass. So when you're trying to solve problems, if you take a purely technical view, you can often end up down a rabbit hole, not necessarily understanding the broader context. But with the actuarial industry, you have a very acute understanding of the commercial context in which you operate. And so it means when you design solutions, you can both be technically correct, but also relevant to the industry that you're participating in. FrontYa is a business that helps solve housing affordability. It's somewhat easy to borrow money if you have a decent wage, but it's actually coming up with the savings to unlock that borrowing capacity is the true challenge. It makes it increasingly more and more challenging to save that deposit. So what we do is break that cycle. We come up with deposit funding to help people bridge that deposit gap. In exchange, become an investor in the home and get exposure to the home's growth in value. I met with my co-founder and he had identified the problem in Australia as well as a broad idea for the solution, but wasn't sure exactly how to solve it. I thought with my actuarial training, let's take a data-driven approach to solving it. We pulled out 2.5 million property transactions over the last 30 years. And we actually back-tested this idea and overlaid different product structures to identify the one that actually best met the needs of all the stakeholders in the picture. And so once we found out that it was actually a commercially viable product, but in a way that actually benefited society and consumers, we were really excited by the offering. We're essentially playing in a space that's incredibly innovative. People have tried to solve this problem in the past, but it's a very narrow bridge that you have to cross to eventually solve it. I think it's important to employ an actuary because often when you have a lot of data, and you need to make sure that you're representing that data in the correct way possible to make the best business decision as a result. But an actuary has the correct use of the technical understanding, the commercial acumen, and the moral compass to mean that when they look at data and when they assess it and provide the insight, it's going to be one that actually helps the business.